Hi guys, happy Saturday and good afternoon. How are you today? I hope that today you're fine and you're having a great time. You're spending a great weekend. So as usual, I wait a couple of minutes for you to come to join this live lesson. I hope that I'm not interrupting your lunch, so that you have already finished having your lunch, or that you're waiting for this lesson to be completed in order to have lunch today. So I see that somebody started coming. As you know, the topic of today will be relative pronouns. As you can see from the whiteboard behind me, relative pronouns. There is a student inside the group, Brunella, who asked me for a clarification about this topic, and so I decided to have a live lesson about this specific topic. So I see that somebody are already here. Hi Fabio, hi Anna Maria, hi Gabriele, welcome. How are you guys? And what are you doing? What are your plans for this weekend? In the meantime that we wait for the others to arrive. First of all, I ask you to give me a feedback about the video and the audio of this live lesson, so that I can start being sure that everything is going on properly. Hi Cristiana, hi Stefano, welcome. So as far as my weekend is concerned, I have just finished a lesson, a one-to-one lesson here in my studio that lasted 4 hours. So I started this early morning, and now 3 hours, sorry. And now I am having this live lesson together with you. In the afternoon, I will take one of my dog to the vet for the vaccine. And then I will spend this Saturday evening, this Saturday night, having a pizza party with some friends. So this is my plan for this afternoon and for this evening. What about you? What about your plans for this weekend? So let's see your comments. Fabio wrote, after lunch, I'm going to follow your lesson. Okay, fantastic. So you are ready for this afternoon plan. The bodybuilder. Yes, Cristiana, that's right. The dog that I'm taking to the vet today, it's the bodybuilder. I just told Cristiana, sorry, that I have 4 dogs, but I suppose that the majority of you know about this piece of information of my private life. And one of them is a very strong dog that the vet calls the bodybuilder. So that's why Cristiana wrote this comment. So what about the others? What about your plans for this afternoon and for tomorrow, for this weekend? As far as the weather forecast, as far as I know, tomorrow it should be sunny here in Lombardy. I hope, because it's very nice now that it's springtime to do something in the open air on Sunday, but it is just possible if the weather is positive, is a sunny weather. Hi Paola, welcome. Hi Cinzia, hi Chiara. Anna Maria wrote, I am visiting my parents. Okay, so an afternoon or a weekend spent with family members is always a good idea. Hi Sabrina, and welcome. Okay guys, so I think do not waste other time now, and let's start with the topic of today. As I told you at the beginning, a member of the group asked me for clarifications about the topic relative pronouns, and I thought that it would have been a good idea to dedicate a lesson on this topic, because it is always quite hard if you do not have specific instructions about this topic to translate the Italian che. In fact, today we will concentrate on the translation of the Italian che, and then we will make some exercises together, some translations together, in order to test that what we will learn today is something that is clear for everybody. Okay, so I take all my markers and I start. Before starting, I would like to make things very clear and easy, because you know this is my method of teaching. And I would like to put a differentiation, to underline, to point out a differentiation between two different types of che. So first of all, when we talk about relative pronouns, we are talking about the Italian expression che. But we have to know that in Italian, che can have two different meanings. First of all, we have what we call in Italian il che dichiarativo. So, the Italian word che that has a declarative meaning, a declarative purpose. Let's say declarative purpose. And then we have, in other sentences, in other cases, the word che that have, on the opposite, a relative purpose. So, coming back to the topic of today's lesson. So, relative purpose. What we can call che dichiarativo, so the one that has a declarative purpose, is translated in English with the preposition that. This that always comes after verbs that want to express a declaration, a thought. For example, this that comes after verbs like think, believe, suppose. So this kind of verbs usually tend to express a declaration. For example, I can say, I think that studying English with Monica is the best alternative available in the world. So, of course, it is a party statement, una dichiarazione di parte. But, as you can see, in Italian, we would say, io penso che. In English, this che has to be translated with the preposition that. I think that. I believe that. I suppose that. Penso che, credo che, suppongo che. So in this case, that has not a relative purpose, but it has a declarative person because it introduces a declarative statement, ovvero introduce una frase dichiarativa, quella che in italiano chiameremmo frase dichiarativa. So the only available translation is that. What I would like you to keep in mind is that this preposition, that, is not compulsory. For example, I can say, to translate the Italian sentence, penso che il corso di Monica sia il migliore. In English, we have two different types of translation. I think that Monica's course is the best. And it is the simplest version because it is very similar to the Italian structure, and so it is very easy for us to arrive to this kind of output. I think that. Io penso che. But when the preposition that has a declarative purpose, in English, it is not compulsory, non è obbligatorio, it is not compulsory to put this preposition. So, an alternative to the previous sentence could be, I think Monica's course is the best. So, when you have verbs like think, believe, suppose, and all the other verbs that want to express a declaration statement, they are usually followed by the preposition that. But the preposition that is not compulsory. So it can be omitted, può essere omessa, because it is not fundamental in order to express our idea, our statement, our point of view. So, is this clear? Do we understand the meaning of the preposition that in the declarative purpose? So I would like to get some feedback from you. So this is very important to keep in mind that verbs like this one are usually followed by the preposition that, but the preposition that is not compulsory. So let's make another example. Lui crede che la compagnia, l'azienda sia in crisi. First translation. He believes that the company is suffering from a crisis. Lui pensa che la compagnia, l'azienda sia in crisi. He believes that, lui crede che, he believes that, the company is suffering from a strong crisis. Another alternative could be, he believes the company is suffering from a strong crisis. So as you can see, I have the possibility to omit this that, this preposition, because in English it is not compulsory. But keep in mind that it is feasible, questo è fattibile, just for the cases in which that has a declarative purpose. And so it comes after verbs like think, believe, suppose, and so on. Okay, is this clear? I would like to get a feedback from you. I have a look at my mobile phone just to have a look at your comments, because sometimes I cannot see. Okay, so no comments so far. Okay, so this is the first topic that I want you to fix in your mind. How to translate our che when this che has a declarative purpose. If everything is clear, and Fabio, Giovanni, Anna Maria are providing me with a feedback, thank you so much, guys. So they are confirming me that everything is okay. I would pass to, let's say, to the nutshell, al nocciolo, to the nutshell of today's lesson, that is how to translate our che when our che has a relative purpose. So it has the function of pronome relativo. In this case, in order to translate the Italian che with a relative purpose, we have three different alternatives. And these alternatives are, again, that, who, and which. That, who, which. Let's start with that. That can be used when the relative pronoun, because now we are talking about relative pronouns that are represented by che, when the relative pronoun refers to a person or an object but this translation of the Italian che is valid just in the oral speech. So I make it clear. I remove this part of the whiteboard because I need space, I need room to write. So now we are focusing on che in the relative, as a relative pronoun. That means that che could be substituted, could be replaced by il quale, la quale, i quali, le quali. So we are saying that the Italian che, when in the case that it has the function of relative pronouns, so it could be replaced by expressions like il quale, la quale, i quali, o le quali, has in English 3 different translations. The first one is that. That could be used in order to talk about people and objects, but it is preferable to use that as relative pronoun just when we are talking in the oral speech. So now your question could be, okay, Monica, but how can I translate properly the Italian che if I am writing an email or if I am writing a cover letter, if I'm writing another kind of document that could be formal or informal, but I am writing? The translation is very, very easy. We use the relative pronoun who just when we are talking about a person. On the opposite side, we will use the relative pronoun which, talking about an object. Okay, let's make some examples. I want to make the first example. The first example could be: mia sorella, che lavora come ingegnere, vive in California. Mia sorella, che lavora come ingegnere. Why is this che a relative pronoun? Because I can replace che with la quale. Mia sorella, la quale lavora come ingegnere, vive in California. So we are in front of a relative statement. Siamo di fronte ad una frase relativa, scusate, ad una frase relativa. So this Italian sentence can be translated in English like this. My sister, mia sorella, che, nel senso di la quale lavora come ingegnere, vive in California. My sister. If I am just talking, I can say my sister that works, sorry. There is a K missing. Works as engineer vive in California. Lives in California. Mia sorella, che, la quale lavora come ingegnere, vive in California. My sister that works as engineer lives in California. So, 2 things that I want you to focus on. First of all, I said that if I am just talking, if I am not writing, so in this case I am writing just to provide you with a written support, but considering that I am just talking, I can translate the Italian relative pronoun che with that, because I said that could be used in order to refer to a person or an object. First, in case that I am just writing, I will say my sister who works as engineer lives in California. The meaning is the same. Mia sorella che o la quale lavora come ingegnere vive in California. So here we have 2 alternatives. Who if I am writing, that if I am talking. And this is the first thing that you have to keep in mind. The second thing that you have to keep in mind is that in this specific case, where that or who represent relative pronouns, I cannot omit that, as we saw before, because in this case, that is fundamental in order to convey, to transmit the sense of the sentence. The sentence would lose meaning in case we eliminate this part, this that. So this represents perfectly the difference between that used as declarative element and that used as relative element. In this case, where that is used as a relative element, it is fundamental and it is impossible to remove it, to keep it away. So this is the first example that I want to show you. Now I move to another example. Let's make another example with this sentence. Il film che abbiamo visto ieri era molto interessante. Il film che abbiamo visto ieri, il film il quale abbiamo visto ieri, era molto interessante. So how can I translate this sentence? The movie if I am just talking that we watched yesterday was very interesting. The movie that we watched yesterday was very interesting. Il film il quale abbiamo visto ieri era molto interessante. This is a perfect sentence if we are just talking. In case that we are writing, it would be better to translate our Italian che with the relative pronoun which, that, as we saw before, refers to objects. So we will say the movie which we watched yesterday was very interesting. Why am I using which in this case instead of who? Because we said that which refers to things, to objects, whereas who refers to people, to one specific person. Something that I didn't underline before is also this other part. Remember that when you use relative pronouns, after the relative pronoun, we always put a verb. You have a verb or, in this case, a subject, because here the movie is the object. If after the relative pronoun we put a verb, like in this case, the verb has to take into consideration which kind of subject or object the relative is replacing. So, in this case, in the first sentence, where I wrote mia sorella, la quale lavora, in this case, the verb work has to be in the third person, because it is referring to an object, a subject that is in the third person singular. Quindi il verbo deve assolutamente far riferimento alla tipologia di soggetto che il pronome relativo va a fare riferimento. Se ti è piaciuto l'estratto di questa lezione, iscriviti al canale, attiva le notifiche, ma soprattutto, per saperne di più, clicca sul link in descrizione. Ci vediamo dall'altra parte!